A very good morning to you and welcome to our Tuesday morning scope conversation where conversations meet clarity. I am your host Clifford Ogonda, and today we are going to take you through news that are making headlines and news that are streaming into our streaming platforms and our studios. And today, this morning, we unpack the stories behind headlines, engage leaders and change makers, and explore trends shaping business, culture, everyday life. It's again focusing and fresh, and it's a forwarded thinking. And let's get started. Welcome to our today's morning brief. And on to the news that are making headlines is that President William Ruto has condemned the missile strike targeting American bases in Gulf region as the Middle East war ensues. This comes after Iran, relating to the attack launched by the United States and Israel on Saturday, targeted the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Oman, Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. In a statement on Monday, President William Ruto opened the regionalism of the conflict poses a grave threat to international peace and security, calling for engagements that will open talks for declaration.
The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will employ all necessary capabilities and resources to confront these criminal acts of aggression and to repel the hostile actions of the enemy.
And to other news, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki wants Rigathi Gachagua to stop meddling, saying that as Meru people they dislike disrespect and will shame him if he continues the behavior. Amas in Kimbia. Let's get the story in this video.
Nasikia kuna watu wana safari hapa sijui siku gani. Nyinyi nani? Wewe nani? Wewe nani? Wewe nani? Ukifika hapa kuja na heshima bwana. Wewe kuja na heshima. Usikuja na madharau. Usikuja na kiherehere. Usikuja na kimbelembele. Sisi hapa hatupendi madharau. Na sisi hatuna shida na mtu yeyote. Bora ukuja na heshima. Useme mambo yako alafu kwende. Kwa sababu sisi sio watu ya fujo. Lakini hiyo madharau ukiendelea nayo, ukikataa kuachana na hiyo tabia ya matusi, wewe tutakuaibisha bwana. Wewe nani wewe? Wewe nani? Wewe nani? Niseme nisiseme.
And now farmers in Ju and Shambani in the outskirts of Isiolo are counting heavy losses after a herd of elephants invaded their farms and destroyed crops worth millions of shillings. More story follows up.
Mimi nimeshikwa na mstiko, nasikia hata kama nitaanguka, pressure imepanda juu ya shamba yangu, imekanyangwa area yote. Tumelima na pesa ya maruni, sijui tunaenda kurudisha na nini. Serikali tusaidieni. Juu shida sasa imeingia.
Kuna watu wengi ambao wanafanya kazi kundani ambao wanapata mapato yao. So ndovu imetuharibia, na si mara ya kwanza, zimekuja almost kama mara 6 hivi. Imemaliza machakula zetu zote.
Ndovu karibu family mzima ambayo inakuwa ndovu 12. Zilitembea area hii yote. Kama unavyoona zilituharibia kitunguu, katuharibia mboga. Kuna hata wale ambao miti zao pamoja na nasari za maembe, ndizi zote zimekuliwa.
Haya mashamba ndio yanatulisha. Lakini nashangaa sana asubuhi ya leo tukiamka tukapigwa na butua, tukikuta mashamba zikiwa zimeharibiwa, zimekanyagwa na ndovu na zikaharibiwa kila kitu, na ni mimea ambaye tulikuwa tunatarajia ili kusudi.
And now residents of Emurwa Dikir have been thrown into mourning following the death of the area MP Johana Ngeno, with thousands streaming to his home in Ogonda ward to condole with the family and come to terms with the loss. Emotions reign high as mourners describe the late legislator as a humble and dedicated servant, vowing to remain at his home until his final send-off. Among those paying tribute was Ngeno's close friend Alfred Ngeno, who said they schooled together at Mogondo Primary School and recalled how the late MP leadership traits emerged early. On to other news is that earlier last week, the chair of the Nationalist Party, Mr. Mbugua, launched a party in Kisumu, and a party that is said to be a party that will be uniting the youths all over the country, and a party that is known to be portraying peace and unity. Let's get the story.
I'm Mbugua Nyoike, the National Vice Chairperson, Charge of Strategic Planning in Nationalist Patriotic Party, NP. This evening, right here at the heart of Kisumu County, we have gathered here with the county chairpersons for Nyanza and Western Region to deliberate and forge a way forward on membership recruitment of NP within Nyanza and Western Region. I'm also happy to note that this call to action is not only a responsibility, but also a civic duty that we have as Kenyan young people to come together, bring our heads together, so that we generate a new future and hope for all Kenyan citizens.
My names are Silvanus Gitau, son of Africa, SOA, the Deputy Party Leader of Nationalist Patriotic Party, NP. Na tumefurahia sana, tunashukuru, tumekuja hapa, ndo tuanze the recruitment drive ama kuregister members wa chama chetu cha NP hapa Western and Nyanza region. And I want to call on all Kenyans, especially wa hii region yetu ya Western na Nyanza, waweze kutujoin kwa hii chama chetu cha NP, Nationalist Patriotic Party. Tukue na lengo moja la kuendesha Kenya mbele, because we have said this is a political party or a political institution that is not ethnic based. Ethnic based inamaanisha hii chama si ya kabila fulani ama kabila ile ingine. It is not religion based. Hii si chama ya Wakristo ama Waislamu ama Wahindi ama wale wengine, ni chama ya sisi wote. It is not region based. Hii si chama ya Nyanza peke yake ama ya Western peke yake, ni chama ya Kenya yote. Na tunawaita nyinyi wote muweze kuungana nasi, tutembee safari pamoja, tujenge Kenya, tuiweke mbele na tuifanye iwe taifa moja.
We have had good deliberations on how we can form a party that belongs to the people. This one is different. I call Kenyans and all regional members, that is from Western, that is from Nyanza, that is from Coast, that is from Central Kenya, to join this party, because this is a party that has come to the grassroots level. We have had political parties being formed in Nairobi, managed from Nairobi, having membership recruited from Nairobi, and everything is done from Nairobi, including development. And therefore we are saying this is a party that now considers the grassroots leaders, considers the grassroots voters, and it will work for the people at the lowest level, and that is at the ward level.
NP!
Taifa moja!
Taifa moja!
Kenya mbele!
Taifa moja!
Welcome back, and we are now taking a quick short break, and before that we are coming back with more programs lined up for you, where we are going to have our guest later on in the morning conversation. You get ready for that, and coming up next we are going to have our newspaper review. Let's take a quick short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our news bulletin this morning, and this is Morning Scoop, and we are now into our newspaper review, and these are the news that are making headlines in most of our newspaper. And if I check at my newspaper here, that is the Standard, the headline says that Adani knocks again after losing first round in shillings 258 billion airport deal. That is the Kenya Airports Authority last week unveiled a sweeping 20-year-old blueprint for the transformation of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, but the ambitious plan was revived concern that the controversy the news that is making headline in the Standard newspaper. And maybe if we just move to the next one, is that blow to Ruto as Kenya misses out 125 billion shillings World Bank project. That is also among the things that are hitting our headlines. That is, Kenya has been excluded from a new ambitious $972 million and also 125.38 billion regional One Bank program designed by tackle youth unemployment. That is also one of the things that are making headlines this morning. And if I check at the things that are also streaming in, is that protests erupt in Magumu as local opposes private cemetery. And maybe we just get a look into it. That says that residents of Mugumu in Kinangop constituency, Nyandarua County, on Monday protested plan by a developer to establish a private cemetery near Soko Mpya Market, blocking the Naivasha-Nairobi highway with a barricade and bonfires as they demand to the project to be halted. The residents said the proposed cemetery planned on a 69-acre parcel will present a poor image to the area, urging it sits at the gateway of Nyandarua County along the busy highway. They instead urge the investor to develop a project they say will benefit the community, such as technical training institution or a market. So that is also one of the stories that are making headlines. Maybe we get a look at the Star newspaper. And the Star newspaper, we are having headlines like Anglican divisions deepens a rebel, clergy pick rival to first female leader. And we just get into it. That says clergy from a conservative group of the Anglican Church are meeting this week in Nigeria capital Abuja to choose a rival to the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. The UK's Sarah Mooley will officially be installed as the leader of the World Anglican Communication at a lavish ceremony later this month, but her appointment has divided opinion in Nigeria and also elsewhere. So those are some of the stories that are hitting our headlines this morning. And back to the Standard, that is MP Ngeno to be laid to rest on Friday. MP Ngeno to be laid to rest on Friday. And Emurua Dikir MP Ngeno, who died in a helicopter crash in Mosop constituency, Nandi County, will be buried on Friday, March 6th. His family has said. The family say that the burial program was agreed and after consultation between leaders and grieving relatives following the crash that occurred on Friday 28th in Chepkiew. According to the schedule, a requiem mass will be held on Wednesday, March 4th at the Nairobi Baptist Church, giving leaders and friends and constituents an opportunity to pay their last tribute to the capital. Those are some of the stories that are making headlines. And on to other stories, we find that Mombasa court jails man for life over defilement of 3 minors in Mikindani. The Director of the Public Prosecution, DPP, has secured a life sentence against a Mombasa man convicted by defiling and sexually assaulting 3 school ongoing girls in an incident reported in Kibiriani, Mikindani within Jomvu sub-county. In a statement, the DP said that Jonathan Mutuku, described as being in his 40s, was convicted by Mombasa resident Magistrate Green Odera on 2 counts of defilement and additional counts of committing an incident act with a child and sexual assault. The defense were committed on September 26, 2023, involving 3 minors to aged 8 and 9, and a third 8-year-old victim. Those are some of the stories that are making headlines. And on to other stories. 169 killed in Southern Sudan massacre. 169 killed in South Sudan massacre, and have been killed and buried in a mass grave in northern South Sudan. 2 local officials told EFP Monday as the country sees a dramatic increase in violence. South Sudan, the world's youngest country, has been beset by civil war, poverty, and massive corruption since it was formed in 2011. The United Nations wants a return to all-out civil war as a power-sharing deal between President Salva Kiir and his longtime rival Riek Machar has unveiled over the past year. Those are some of the stories that are making headlines, and maybe we just get a glimpse of what is happening at the Star newspaper. Get a glimpse of what is happening at the Star newspaper. Gachagua deal, a lifeline or a landmine for Sifuna camp. And those are some of the stories that we are getting in the Star newspaper. The Star newspaper. Now on to other news is that Duale, my focus is on Ruto's health agenda, not 2027 campaign. Duale says my focus is on Ruto's health agenda, not the 2027 campaign. Those are some of the stories that are making headlines in the Star newspaper. And another one is that fears as MPs approve treasury plan that could squeeze local borrowers. Government plans to borrow more than 3 trillion from the democratic market over the next 3 years. And maybe we get back to what is happening at the Nation. Let us have a glimpse of what is happening at the Nation newspaper. And we find that Kenyans trapped in Middle East express safety concerns. Kenyans trapped in the Middle East. Those are also some of the newspaper reviews that we are having this morning in the Nation newspaper. And also we have court dismisses man's 300,000 funeral contribution demands from WhatsApp group. And also Deputy President tells opposition to prepare for a tough contest in the 2027 general election. Keep off Mount Kenya region, it is my backyard. DP Kithure Kindiki tells Rigathi Gachagua, keep off Mount Kenya region. DP Kithure Kindiki tells Rigathi Gachagua. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has said that the reason by-election wins in the Mbeere North and Isiolo South is an indicator that the Mount Kenya region are pro-government zone. Professor Kithure Kindiki also told the opposition to prepare for a tough contest in the 2027 general election. His remarks come even as the Democracy for Citizen Party DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua plans a 3-day tour to polarize the united opposition in Turkana, that is in Meru, in Turkana, Nathi and Meru counties this week. However, Professor Kithure Kindiki launched off his predecessor assertion that the Mount Kenya region was an opposition zone, claiming that their campaigns in Mbeere North did not bear any fruit. Those are some of the things that are making headlines this morning. And JKA becomes an alternative hangar for major airlines as Middle East war rages on. Middle East crisis, JKA air traffic balloons as Gulf carries seek refuge. The war in the Middle East and Gulf region has turned Jomo Kenyatta International Airport into one of the most busiest airports where major airlines land and refuel in their routed journeys. On Sunday, the nation witnessed some of the aircraft belonging to Qatar Airways, Etihad, China Airlines, Emirates, as well as Ethiopian Airlines, which has been grounded following the disruption. The situation on the airside contrasted the international departure and arrival terminals where there was less than normal activity. The screen abroad from the international arrivals and departure at Terminal 1C was switched off with few stranded people in the queue. Those are some of the stories that are making headlines this morning into different newspapers that we are having across the country. And senators close ranks to call for disbandment of the Kura and Kera. Senators close ranks to call for disbandment of Kura and Kera. Senators and governors have close rank in calling for the disbandment of the Kenya Rural Roads Authority, KERA, and Kenya Urban Roads Authority, and billions under their control handed over to counties. The lawmakers and the county bosses urged that the two road agencies have failed in the management of county roads despite receiving billions of shillings every financial year from the exchequer. Senator maintained the KERA and the KURA maintained fully operational, performing functions meant for county government, resulting into significant duplication of effort. Yes, so those are some of the stories. And Homa Bay Senator Moses Kajwang said counties have built their capacity to manage their roads within the developed units, investing in their acquisition of state-of-the-art equipment used to maintain Class C roads, leaving KERA idle. They observed that the KERA mostly obstructs maintenance of the said roads as the agency does not have its own equipment. So those are the stories that are making headlines in the country. Yes. How Joseph Kony has evaded capture of decades. Iran conflict struck on girls' school shows why international law still matters. We can get back to the Standard newspaper. The Standard newspaper. Inside bear distribution dispute threatening Dago's exit plan. Kenya misses out on 125 billion world project. That is also one of the stories that are making headlines. JKA unveils airport makeover plan without funding clarity. Trump keeps low profile after ordering Iran strike. And also Adani plots a comeback months after losing first round in 258 billion airport deal. And government must now dismantle blocks of violence that that are being built. The government must now dismantle blocks of violence that are being built. And the fourth protocol, a work of fiction by Frederick, kicks off with a covert Soviet plot to manipulate British politics ahead of general election. The British allegiance uncovers fragments of a secret plan known as Plan Aurora, through which the Soviets aim to destabilize the United Kingdom by secretly donating a nuclear device on British soil and blaming the government. The resulting public outrage is expected to swing voters towards a pro-Soviet political movement. This mirrors the Kenyan situation, where there is a alleged covert plan by the United Democratic Alliance UDA to manipulate the 2027 general election by making the Orange Democratic Movement ODM appear to be fully supporting President William Ruto's re-election campaign, where the Soviet plan to demonstrate a nuclear device and blame it to the British government. UDA schemers planted useful idiots inside ODM and the promise the deputy presidency, hoping it would implode and that the result breakup would be blamed on the gladfully that is ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and former President Uhuru Kenyatta. The plan, had it succeeded, was designed to drive ODM diehards and sympathizers to UDA. However, the plot failed to anticipate contingencies and has been exposed. As we draw closer to the 2027 election, the conduct of the government in the recent past is cause for a suspicion. Revelations that an individual and perhaps many more associated with Sudan's rapid support forces have Kenyan passports are unsettling. Since 2023, the RSF under Mohammed Handan alias Hemedi had led the savage conflict that saw claimed 150,000 and displaced 12 billion. Those are some of the stories that are making headlines this morning, and we can now get to news that are making headlines in different counties. And Nairobi water banks on new 280-kilometer piping to increase supply. Nairobi water banks on new 280-kilometer piping to increase supply. And Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company has launched a 5-year comprehensive strategic plan to increase water supply in the city, reduce system losses, expand sewage system coverage, and improve customer care through this digitization of the entire building infrastructure. And those are some of the news that are creating, that are streaming into our media houses this morning in the county level. And maybe we now get to a little bit of politics this morning. And Sifuna, ODM, will send party straight to the opposition. Sifuna says ODM Ruto pact will send party straight to the opposition. Embattled ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has warned that any coalition between the Orange Democratic Movement ODM and the President William Ruto will send the party back to the opposition and not to power. The warning delivered during a television interview yesterday came barely 24 hours after ODM party leader Oburu Odinga stood before supporters at Posta Grounds in Migori on Sunday and declared that the party had authorized him to open formal coalition talks with Ruto United Democratic Alliance UDA ahead of the 2027 general election. And let us now get into the death of this man Ngeno and why MP defied William Ruto. The late Emurua Dekir MP Johanna Ngeno maintained a turbulent relationship with the President William Ruto dating back to 2007 when the outspoken legislator first entered elective politics in Narok County. All right. And now PS Omolo warns of arrest, persecution over political rally chaos. The government has warned of arrest and persecution of mobilizers behind violence during a political rallies after more cases were reported recently as the county slowly enters the 2027 election campaign season. Speaking in Nyeri on Sunday, Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo declared zero tolerance for the act that have left some supporters of the politicians dead or injured. He maintained that violence, hooliganism, and unlawful mobilization will be countered firmly by the state security agencies and suspects arraigned. This administration reaffirms its position that hooliganism and disorder will not be tolerated under any circumstances, and security agencies remain vigilant in ensuring accountability and maintaining public order, said PS Raymond Omolo, and he further dismisses allegations linking his office to some of the chaos during rallies organized by parties opposing the government. Speaking during an exclusive interview with the KTN on Monday, February 24, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino accused Omolo of commanding a group of goons, saying it warranted his dismissal from the role. This first person to bear responsibility, who should be sacked and changed, is Raymond Omolo. The PS Insecurity and Goons Administration in the country is him, Babu Owino stated. And inside Gladys Wanga's changing fortunes is one also of the stories that are hitting headlines in the Standard newspaper. And Homa Bay Governor and ODM chairperson Gladys Wanga appears to be a woman on a mission as he refers further with perceived critics launching an ambitious drive to strengthen ODM while simultaneously building President William Ruto re-election bid. But it is a move fraught with deep suspicion, internal divisions, and resentment by a section of the ODM faithful who believe the experienced politician is on self-seeking mission at the expense of the party's legacy. Those are some of the stories that I'm streaming and I'm making headline in the Standard newspaper. And maybe we get to know why Hassan Joho wants to be Ruto 2027 running mate. Why Hassan Joho wants to be Ruto's 2027 running mate. Cabinet Secretary Hassan Joho has held 8 meetings with coast leaders in the past 2 months, signaling his relentless pursuing to become President William Ruto's running mate in the 2027 general election. In the 2027 general election. And also yesterday, the president visited Ngeno's current home and condoles with his family. President William Ruto on Monday visited the home of the late Emrua Dikir, Member of Parliament Johanna Ngeno in Karen, Nairobi, to condole with the family. The president, accompanied by other leaders, was received by the grieving family and friends before signing the condolence book. And those are some of the stories that are making headlines in our standard newspaper. And now we are taking a short break, and we'll be back with other more newspaper review, and also later on we are going to have our guest and a member of parliament who is aspiring to be a member of county assembly who is aspiring to be MCA in one of the wards in town. Those are the stories that we have planned for you, so don't miss out. We are getting back in a short while.